And welcome everybody to episode 17 of the All Gunners podcast. And it is this week, despite my recent bout of COVID, it is my chance or my time or my turn to host today's pod, which is going to be a little preview, a very short pod, but a little preview of the game of the season for the Arsenal, the one and only North London derby. But listen, guys, I wouldn't be able to preview this on my own. Well, I could, but you'd probably all go to sleep by listening to my voice. Hence why my brother from another mother, the troublemaker, and always disagreeing with me on everything Arsenal, or some of the times, is my guy, Zed. How we doing, Zed?
Hey mate, I'm alright. I'm alright. How are you doing with the bout of COVID?
Yeah, this as I say, we was discussing in the prep. It's gone unnoticed really. It was only because my partner sort of forced me to take a test. But we all turn into us Asians always turn into doctor mode, don't we? When it comes to it's not COVID, it's a viral infection. But I was soon proven to be wrong. But yeah, I'm not too bad. A little bit groggy, I can say, but that's about it.
I hope you feel better quickly, mate.
Thank
You
you,
need to be
thank you.
top form for the North London
I
derby,
need I
right?
need to be ready for tomorrow, absolutely. And what better time to get recovered for, but in time for the and listen, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit nervous, mate. I'm a bit nervous. What
Oh
about
mate,
yourself?
I agree with you, mate.
Mm,
I'm very nervous, and people will look at our forms, say, what 4 wins on the trot, Arsenal's on good form, but it's North London derby, mate. All the form, all
this
that shit
form
goes out
goes
the
out the
window.
window, doesn't it?
It,
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
goes out the window. It's the biggest game, and this game is so much more important than we thought it will be at
Well,
the start of
well,
the
Zed,
season.
let's get into it. We've said this for a number of games across the season, and
Yeah,
let's sort of preview that a little bit and leading up to
yeah.
it is that we were never meant to be in a top four fight this season. We were never
No,
meant to
no,
be
we weren't.
challenging for the top four. We finished eighth last season. We came into this season with the expectations, let's be fair, to hopefully finish in Europe. It started really, really bad. We were in the relegation zone in the first three games. Lots and lots of excuses. Arteta has
Hmm.
been in, stroke out, lots of banana skins across the season for our fan base. But look, here we are after a number of mini runs,
Hmm.
and we always said, didn't we, at the beginning, that if we could put some kind of run together, then we could sort of recover. But the listen, this guy Mikel Arteta, and we'll get onto that later, no doubt, is a chap with 9 lives. Oh, he's got 19 lives, maybe, because every time there's that big slip, he seems to put a little run together. And I want to big up and shout out before I ask you, Zed. Big up Dan Potts, who's been on our pod before. He did a little preview of where he sits in Arteta on the Arteta
Mm.
thing at the moment. I would encourage all of our listeners to go and check that out on League Gunners. League Gunner, what? How dare I swear on this pod? League Judges TV on the YouTube, and he talked about how every time the manager has slipped up and has been two or three defeats in a row, he's just rescued. But we find ourselves now, Zed, on the eve of the North London derby in a
Hmm.
position that a win qualifies us for the Champions League automatically for the Champions League at the scummy. I don't even know if there's a name for that. Is it a stadium? Can we call it a stadium? There's a blade of grass there or two, with a few spuds that tend to want to watch a really scummy team. But the Tottenham Stadium or wherever it's called, we haven't won there in a number of years, Ed. I know you're going to probably give us the stats and all of the prep on that, but we are in a position now, Zed, where 3 points gets us into the Champions League. A draw keeps us in the hunt. A loss keeps us in the hunt. But what a feat it would be if we were to turn over the Tottenham with Conte at their helm tomorrow evening and then qualify automatically for the Champions League. Did you like that intro, by the way?
Mate, mate,
The lead up.
the lead up was good. It was good. I'm at a bit of lost of words to say
I was going
what
to.
exactly.
I've took all of your words, haven't I? Really, but no. I thought I'd give the listeners a little bit of a prep, really, in terms of the
Yeah.
topsy turvy season that we've had. But we're there now, where we're 3 points away.
Yeah, I mean, we are. I mean, and I'll echo that thing that you said that at the start of the season, no one expected. I don't think the Arsenal board or the Conkeys
No, no.
or anyone thought that we will be here. And let's have it right. I will give a shout out that we are here, yes, because Mikel Arteta has pulled rabbit out of the hat multiple times this season.
Yeah,
So shout out to Dan Potts for that. He's absolutely correct on that one. But you have to appreciate that the teams around us have been dog shit as well.
yeah.
Right? So, but you have to take advantage of what is
Which
around
they have.
you,
Yeah,
which they have, which is good for a young team, for the youngest team on the Premier League, right, in the Premier League this season, to be able to do that. That is very, very encouraging for the future. So let's have it right. Champions League or no Champions League, for me, this season has been good. A big market improvement on what it was 2 seasons in a row. Yes, we've had the FA Cup to paper over the cracks, but two eighth finishes, league finishes after Unai Emery is what Arteta had to show for himself, right? He has since managed to get the players he wanted in, to get out the players that he didn't want in, and there were some big names and high wage players on that for which Arsenal took big hits. So this club have backed their manager, and the manager is now close to delivering what is the remit. And for the Arsenal, the remit is Champions League football every single season. And next season is going to be even tougher, right? City have just announced Haaland, right? That is that is probably the worst news for the rest of the Premier League,
yeah,
right? For
yeah,
City, absolutely great. Yeah, fine. Bloody hell, they've got Pep Guardiola, they've got Erling Haaland, they've got Kevin De Bruyne supplying the passer to him. It's freaking insane, right? But I'm hoping he flops as a Arsenal
You
fan.
were saying that earlier, weren't you?
I was saying that.
Hard to believe, but yeah,
Hard to believe, of course, but that's just daydreaming. But anyway, getting back to the Arsenal, I think I absolutely echo what you were saying that Arsenal are where they are because of luck, but also because the manager has done well to pull rabbits out of the hat and get us on mini runs, as you put it. Three losses against teams that we should have won and should have
yeah,
already tied up the Champions League,
yeah,
and but four wins on the trot, three of them against opposition that we didn't think we'll win. So you
no,
have Chelsea sitting comfortably in third. You had Manchester United who were shit anyway, but tough games. But he's got results, and
yeah,
results matter, and the points on the table matter. So yes, props. I like the intro, and I agree with you.
yeah.
But let's get on to the game that we have, the
Wow.
biggest game of the season, and we didn't think it will be that game.
Well, the thing is with this game, Zed, for the game itself, it all started. The drama had all started back in January, where this fixture should have been played
Yeah.
very, very early after Christmas. Now, if you remember, Zed, we were the ones that actually pulled the plug on this game,
Yes.
and it couldn't because apparently we couldn't field enough players due to the COVID situation at the time. And this
Hmm.
really pissed off Tottenham, didn't they, at
Yes,
the
it did.
time? Which, to be fair, actually, they were missing some players, and Conte had just sort of been appointed recently, a few games before. They weren't exactly firing on all cylinders themselves, as
No.
maybe they have done since, or they certainly improved since, although they've been quite inconsistent. But this game has. I think the reason why there's going to be a lot of emotion in tomorrow's game myself is because of the COVID situation and how they will feel hard done by on their inner cores and thoughts around how Arsenal manipulated that particular COVID situation. How much
Hmm.
of I want to ask you this, said,
Yeah.
is Conte's playing it quite smooth in his press conference from what we hear yesterday? Not too much mention of that, almost played down. But how much in those Tottenham players do you think, in terms of their emotion, does that episode of us postponing the game going to affect the way they play tomorrow?
I think they should be thanking us. Bloody hell. I think Arsenal are at a disadvantage. I'm going completely the opposite way. Fine, Arsenal couldn't feel Aubameyang or Partey because of the AFCON and, Odegaard and a couple of the other players maybe have had COVID. But at that point, Tottenham were absolutely in the shit. They were absolutely nowhere. Conte had no idea what the hell was happening in this club. He actually had no idea why he accepted the job because about 2 or 3 weeks after, he was literally crying after a loss to Burnley.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right, right. So I think that was the correct time for Arsenal to capitalize and really just smash them to bits, right?
Yeah. I remember
Because
you saying this at the time, actually, that we should have played them.
absolutely, absolutely, we should have played it, and I stick by that because their form was all over the place. The team didn't know what the hell was going on. There was a new manager in charge, while Arsenal had a bit more stability. Remember, we had a really decent December. We had a better, crappier January, but better February and March. So Arsenal were just starting to get into another dip, but that was the perfect game to get out of that dip,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what we've seen. We've seen
I,
peaks
I'm
and
I'm
troughs
not
this
sure if
season.
I'm agreeing with that. I think we'd have lost that game back then.
You know, I think the way Tottenham were in the first 5 or 6 games when Conte took over, they were all over the place. I didn't
Mm.
think they were doing anything. I think even players
But
like
so,
Son and
but so were
Kane,
we back in January, Zed.
we
If you
were,
don't, yeah,
but
we were all over the place,
we
and
were
I
all
think
over
we
the
were in
place.
that kind of phase as a squad where, unless it was that first 11, the chosen first 11 with
Hmm.
White and Party and well, I mean, I know we switched it up after that and brought Lacazette into the fold as a starter after that, but unless it was that starting 11. We were basically an injury or two away from a loss in nearly every game at that point, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
And I think that's what the worries around the management of the team is that because we were more than our first starting 11 short of some players, that was the anxiety around playing. And don't forget yes, they were all over the place. Tottenham were as well. You're absolutely right. But every team, when a new manager comes, most of the time there's that general honeymoon, new manager bounce, isn't there? Which I think was another thing playing on their mind. But
Yeah,
let's
but but they didn't get that right. They were
they
getting
didn't.
getting
They
hammered
didn't.
because there was such a toxic place that which Conte got into that even now they are all over the place. Sometimes they play really good, sometimes they play really bad, but they
Yeah.
thrive against teams who control the ball, who have all of the possession, and they are just going on the break because they
Well,
have
this
Son
is
and
what
Kane.
you've just took my cue away from me there, Zed. But thank you.
Okay.
You're so used to co-presenting that you've done that's precisely what I wanted to get into next. Now, so we've talked
Okay,
about the
go on.
history and the build-up. Now, I want to get your analysis here, Zed, on the tactical insight here. Really, I mean, we should
Mhm.
have got great Graham on really for the show because
Yes, we should have, yeah.
he would have been able to give us great insight. But I want to get your view on this because you've got a bit of tactical nous as well. There's no doubt about
A
it.
bit.
Is it Tottenham have gone away
Hmm.
to Manchester City? We were just talking about them before as being the potential, probably the league leaders of this season. They've gone away to Liverpool and scored a point. They've
Hmm.
gone away to most of the big teams. I think they took something from Chelsea as well, if I remember correctly. And
I think they did, yeah.
they're playing in this style where they are allowing the teams at home, i.e., the sort of top four teams, if you want to call them that, to come on them and really resolutely defend, but then absolutely blisteringly hit them on the break with mostly in the main in the second part the three players Son, Kane, and Kulishevsky.
Yeah,
Now, for me, I'm going to give you my quick analysis on this: is that
go
we
on.
can't fall into that trap tomorrow, right? I
Yeah.
think Conte, because of the very limited squad he's had and how I think he was quite unhappy with the window as a whole and how many players Tottenham let go and didn't replace necessarily. I happen to think, by the way, that they did replace. I mean, the Bentancur and Kulusevski were good replacements. I mean,
Good, good deals,
Kulusevski,
yeah.
he's put in what's his name out of the team.
Lucas Moura.
Lucas Moura out of the team, who was brilliant,
Yeah.
and has been brilliant for Tottenham. I think that is the one trick that Conte has it up the sleeve. I think when they play a possession game, as we've seen against when they were playing against sort of Brighton, for example, and Brentford, they come
Hmm.
unstuck. Right?
Yeah.
They can't control games, but what they can do is they can hit teams on a break. And they can absolutely punish. Where do you see this is going to be really fascinating for our listeners? Is what do Arsenal need to do tomorrow night to win this game?
Mhm. Okay, so let's get it right from the top. You are correct on the way the Conte style is implemented. So Conte's always played the back three with two wing backs to assist in the attack. So that was the same system that he played when he was at Chelsea, right? But
Yeah.
at Chelsea, he had better players. He had bloody Hazard and he had Diego Costa to create that attack, and along with Willian and other players. But he also had N'Golo Conte in the midfield to mop up everything so his team could go forward. It was the same style that he played in Inter when he had Lautaro Martinez and Lukaku up front, right? So Conte is a very big uh, proponent of the back three, right? And right now, he's got Christian Romero, right, who is being one of the best players for Spurs
He has.
this
Yeah.
season, right? He's been absolutely amazing. I don't know how they managed to get that deal done and not pay a penny this season, but that's how they managed to get. But that's where Danny Levy is good. He's not
Mm,
so good with anything else, right?
no.
So that guy is literally holding down the defense. And Hugo Lloris, he's excellent shot stopper. We know that he's been on form. And you've got Eric Dyer, who's been dependable. So their back line is very, very good, right? To assist in that attack. So if you see the Liverpool, the first goal, the goal that they scored against Liverpool, it's on the break. Then you've got Sessegnon on the left wing, just cutting in, and Son is in all types of space. That kind of tactic to play on the break. Now remember, you have to take into account. I'm just talking about the Liverpool game here now. The Liverpool play a very, very high line, and they try the Gengen press. The way they play is to win the ball very high up on the pitch, so there are fewer passes leading to an opportunity to score. Right?
Yeah.
That's Jurgen Klopp's philosophy, in a very oversimplified way. Right? I'm not saying this is his entire game plan, but in a very oversimplified way, it is win the ball high up the pitch, so you have fewer passes to make before you can get a shot on target. That's the theory.
Yeah.
The problem with that is when you all push up, your back line is very, very high. And we've seen Liverpool get caught out by this in the Champions League sometimes as well, but also by teams who sit in a deep block against them, like, your Burnleys or sometimes even, let's say Aston Villa or something. But they try to play a bit more expansive under Gerrard, same with Brighton.
Mm,
But, teams generally tend to sit back against the likes of Liverpool and City because they know they're going to have the ball, but Liverpool make use of the high press. So what Conte has come up with, and he's won the Premier League before with Chelsea, so he is no muck, right?
no.
He knows what he's doing, and he's won Serie A with Inter, he's won Serie A with Juventus. This guy is a serial winner, and he knows tactically. I will say this: he's much, much better than Arteta.
Of course, yeah. Yeah. He's got
Yeah,
the experience, hasn't he?
yeah. There's no competition there. Arteta's still learning on the job. Conte knows what the hell he's doing, right?
Yeah.
While he's got limited resources, he's setting up his team such that when he knows he can't control the game, everyone is compact, and then you've got your wing backs who are ready to attack, and your midfielders ready to protect the back three, right?
Mm, mm.
And then when you have excellent players. Look, they may be Tottenham players, but you can't get away from the fact that Son and Kane are world class,
No, no, of course. I don't
right?
think that's a
Right?
debate.
That's not a debate. So, right, they are world class players, and when you've got these kind of world class players, you're able to play on the break, and Kane will find Son, or Son will find Kane,
Yeah, they've got
or one of
brilliant
their teammates.
chemistry. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant chemistry, and then you add Kulusevski to the mix to
Mm,
add that unknown component because people haven't figured him out yet. He's a new boy. He came in January and he's done very well, right? It creates the unknown, so they have different passing lanes, different ways to attack.
yeah.
But that
I mean, I
on the
will say
break,
just on that one, Zed, and I'll let you
yeah,
continue. I will say that goal against Liverpool. I was watching it live.
yeah,
Was a hoofed ball from Royale that
yeah,
ended up
absolutely.
ended up really just out of fortune finding Harry Kane, who then you're absolutely right. Then has got the quality to be able to play in the likes of Son and what have you. I think it went back out to the left and then back
It,
into
it,
Son.
it went out to the left wing with the left wing one, Sessegnon, who
Yeah,
controls it and then pings it in, and
yeah.
Son's waiting in the middle because he knows when Harry Kane drops, he's
Yeah,
got to be in the
he's got
box.
to be in the box, and so I mean, I wouldn't go so far to say that that was a well worked goal against Liverpool.
No, but if you're playing against a team like Liverpool, there's two ways about it. Either you can go toe to toe with them, which Arteta has tried. He's tried the same thing against City because that's the way he likes to play, right? I'm not going to say whether that's right or wrong. It could be very idiotic sometimes when you don't have the quality, right?
Yeah,
You got to know your limits. But against City, he worked very well when he went toe to toe with them for
yeah,
70 minutes
yeah,
until that stupid red card, right?
yeah,
But getting back to Tottenham, so the way they play can definitely counter Arteta because Arteta's style of play is developed on. I'm not going to say it's exactly a copy paste of Pep Guardiola's. Is developed on the tiki taka possession based system,
Yeah,
right? Pretty football, slow build up passings to as many teams you can, get it wide, cross the ball in, or create opportunities by Odegaard or pushing Xhaka forward, whatever it may be, right? It's about that style of 4-3-1, a 4-3-2-1, which changes in defense and attacking positions, and while at the same time pressing from the front, which also City do.
yeah,
So the problem is Arteta's game is based on possession, right?
yes,
Right now, Conte is playing a game to counteract that, and he's doing it very effectively, right?
yeah.
So that result against Liverpool is a big result for them, right? So they've taken a point where they've literally cost Liverpool the Premier League.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have, I think. Yeah,
right. Yeah, and they easily won against Leicester. But when it comes to a team like you're right, absolutely right. When it comes to a team like Brentford or Brighton, who Brighton play a bit more of an open, expansive style, but they can sit in. Brentford definitely sit in. Aston Villa, who play a bit more open, so it's honestly Tottenham are so all over the place these days that it's hard to.
but what
Uh,
are they going to do against us tomorrow, Zed? Because that's kind of the crux of my question.
okay,
Is a what?
so
How do, they're at home, and
yeah,
naturally in the Premier League, the home team is the team that is expected to be the advancers, to be the
yeah,
controllers, to have the ball, and to be the enforcers of making the first move.
yeah.
I'm going to ask the question again in two parts.
Go on.
What will Tottenham do in your view tomorrow, and how should Arsenal set up to counter that?
Okay, so first things first, I'm going to touch on the Arsenal thing. I think Arsenal should play their game. Number one,
So you
right?
think Arsenal should go and attack Tottenham?
Absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely,
Now,
right?
now, now, I'll tell you what. Let me just sort of stop you there for a
Yeah.
second, because there's pundits out there that are saying that they feel, and I'm not saying whether I agree or not. I'm just sort of just putting that out there,
hmm
that actually that will fall into Tottenham's trap. That's exactly what they want you to do.
They want you. Yeah, no, I can see where they're coming from. Honestly, for the whole 5 minutes that I've spoken, that's exactly what I've said that you'll fall into the trap. But there's a reason why I'm saying that, right?
Go
And
on.
there's a reason why I think Arsenal will do that. So one thing we know about Mikel Arteta is he's stubborn,
Mm,
right? That guy does not change the way he's going to play for anyone,
mm,
right? He could have sat against City, he didn't do that. He could have sat against Liverpool, he didn't do that. He went toe to toe with them because that is the direction he wants to take this club, and that is
mm,
the football that he wants to play. And there is a bit of a fact about that he's too academic and he doesn't want to, it doesn't quite translate that on the pitch very well yet, right?
mm.
And I'm going to caveat that with a yet. But if he goes there and tells his young team to say, boys, sit in for today,
Yeah.
right? He's 8, 9 months of work he's just chucking out the window for one game.
Do you think the system will change against Tottenham?
They will be a back four.
I'm going to
No, no.
I'm going to reference here Charles Watts. I don't know if you
Yep.
catch his pod as well. He does a sort of daily video,
Yeah.
nearly a daily video.
Nearly a daily video.
He is absolutely certain, when I listened to his video yesterday and
Okay.
today, that Arsenal will go and match, because, and look, there's two sides to this as well, because
Okay.
I think he universally accepts that Arsenal will go for the win.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I need to
Absolutely, they
get
will.
straight there.
They will. They
I
will.
don't think and that's probably where he agrees with you here, where you're
Mm.
saying Arsenal not going to go there for a draw, or sit
No,
in
no,
and
no, no, no.
suck up sort of pressure, and but he said that what he does feel Arsenal will do tomorrow, a lot of it obviously depends on Ben White's fitness,
Yeah.
is start with a back three and match Tottenham's system. What do you think's
No.
going to happen?
No. It
No,
will be a
you
back
don't
four.
agree with
So
that.
no, absolutely not. Let me tell you what the back four is going to be now. Cedric as the right back.
Yeah,
If Ben White is fit, he comes in, but otherwise Robinho, right?
yeah,
Gabriel and Tomiyasu. That will be the back four. The midfield will be Xhaka and El Neni, with
yeah.
Odegaard playing a more of an advanced role but also dropping in,
Mm,
and you'll have Saka, Martinelli, and Nketiah.
mm. Same
Exactly the
same
same thing.
team same team as versus Leeds, in
Leeds,
effect.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
So
I don't.
you don't think he's out there to out? tactically master out um, Tottenham in any
Conte.
way, shape,
No,
or Conte in any shape
no,
or form? You think
no,
that he will
absolutely
go
not.
and play the game that he's
He will
been
go
used
and
to
play the
playing?
game. Absolutely. He is going to
And
go
how
on.
do you think that will fare, Zed?
I think they can go one of two ways, right? And it very much depends on who has the first strike. So remember when we played them at home, obviously they were under Nuno and they were all over the place. There was no bloody midfield. But Arsenal started off really, really well,
Hmm.
right? They started off very quickly and got an early goal. I think, and that's the same thing that they were trying to do against Leeds. So, if you've watched the recent games, they Arsenal have been poor later on in the game, but they've started well. Every
They're not good at sustaining. I mean, I can't say Arsenal have been either, to be fair, but especially Tottenham, they're not been good for 90 minutes, have they?
No, no, no. And Arsenal haven't been either. But what I've seen in the last 3 or 4 games, at least, is that they've tried to come out, and that was the same case against Chelsea. They've tried to come out and get a quicker start, right? Go right off the block. And if Arsenal can do that tomorrow, because they sometimes this team falls into a trap of having a slow start or trying to control the game,
Hmm.
try to control the momentum. If Arteta does that, then I think Arsenal will lose,
If
right?
you mean you think he'll fall into the trap?
He'll fall into the trap because then you're trying to control the game and then you're trying to do sideways passes, keep a lot of the ball, try to create some
So you feel that Arsenal should come out the traps fast, but keep the pressure
fast.
on through
keep
that throughout
keep
the game.
yeah keep the pressure on at least for the first 10-15 minutes and nick an early goal because that's the biggest advantage. If Arsenal
You see, I don't agree with that.
okay, why?
Zed. I think that's purely what Conte wants to do, because I think what one thing is that they're a lot more clinical than us, and he will always have faith in those three players, especially that we mentioned, and they've got a bit of firepower on the bench as well,
Of course.
um, sort of lasting out. But look, this is a game, Zed, that Tottenham need to win. They need to win. There is no patience about this for them. There's
No,
no
but so
there's no
do
suck
Arsenal.
it.
So do Arsenal.
Less so though. If you're looking at the table, and we're going to go through that in a few minutes, we're going
No,
to
no, no,
we're going
but
to
but
see.
but here's where I'll counter. You either mentally, right? And now I can be completely off the pace, but if I'm the manager and I'm thinking there's one game to get us in the Champions League or 3 games, I'm gonna look at the one game.
Oh, listen, I'm with you there, Zed. I'm looking at this game as a whole tomorrow. Is that
Yeah,
Tottenham need to win? It needs to be 3 points or nothing. Otherwise, they
I
might as well
think
go
Arsenal need
home.
to win. I think the mentality needs to be the Arsenal,
I'm
and they
I'm
need to come out and say we
I'm
win.
in agreement with you, Zed. But hear
Yeah,
me out. What I'm trying to
go on.
say to you is that because Arsenal aren't under the same kind of pressure to win as Tottenham, is actually what I would want to be producing out there is let's be a Brighton, let's be a Brentford, and let's give them like they won't know what they're doing. And really take advantage of that, because you're absolutely right. I'm in agreement with what you said a few minutes ago, is that because of the short period of time that Conte has had to play with these players, is that's the only thing they know at the moment. So
Hmm.
if we can go there and confuse their own system a little bit, because I think you're right in terms of what will happen, by the way, and
Yeah.
I think Arteta is also a little bit one trick pony as well. That actually this is how we're going to play, and there's there's a lot of confidence in our players and ability that will go and play them off the park. I just don't think that. I think that's what Conte will be expecting, and I think when they do hit us on the break, it will be to devastating effect.
I think, mate, the problem is there's a misconception that you think that if we give them the ball that they won't be able to finish. The reason why Brentford and why Brighton were able to do that, they had everyone behind the ball, right? Arsenal are just not that team,
Yeah.
right? Well, what you're expecting them is for to defend for 88 minutes and then attack for the 2 minutes. That's just not Arsenal. That's just not the way
No,
Arteta plays.
I'm not saying that. I mean, because that's
Because
the question I asked you was more about sort of systems and matching
yeah,
out
and
and
well,
whatnot as
yeah,
well.
exactly. So what I'm telling you is, if you give Tottenham the space, they have the quality. Remember, I'm going to go back to Aston Villa. I'm going to go back to Newcastle, right?
Mm.
Unless you shut down Tottenham like Brentford did or like Brighton did, right? And remember, Brighton got a goal at 89th minute,
Mm.
right? So unless you shut them down, Tottenham have superior finishers.
I've
So Harry Kane can pick up the
yeah.
ball, you give him a bit of space, and he will put in the top corner. Same thing with Son. He literally did that against Leicester,
Mm.
right?
I've got
A
to
bit of
say though, in
space.
that Brighton game though, I was watching that because I was keen to see Tottenham dropped points. I was really amazed when I saw. I was loving it, obviously, as we all were. But I've got to say though that for large parts of that game, Brighton were knocking on the door
Oh,
for
they were, they were.
yeah, for like it wasn't like they just had a fluke goal in. They'd actually missed a few really good chances before that, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember thinking that, gosh, Brighton should be winning this game on the balance of chances, and that's what I'm trying to say is that I think we need to be resolute defensively, but what I don't want us to do is go there and be the Arsenal that Conte is expecting, because if we turn up as that Arsenal, he will absolutely. You're right. You said it a few minutes ago. He'll outsmart Arteta
Yeah, he
tactically.
last. But remember, Brighton, Graham Potter, who you know I'm a big fan of, and he should be the Arsenal manager, according to me anyway.
Mm.
His style of play is possession based and creating chances, but he builds from defense and he plays up from the back as well. And remember, he hasn't got as good players. On a just on a squad by squad basis, Arsenal have a much better squad,
Yeah,
higher
yeah,
quality
they
squad
do.
than Brighton do, and he's managed to turn over a lot of big teams because of how good of a manager he is.
Yeah,
Right, right. So I think, right, if you go and attack them quickly
yeah.
with what you call a lot of passion quickly, they're going to get shocked because they're
Mm.
not used to this. They're used to absorbing the pressure and saying, okay, sit back, sit back, sit back, sit back. But if you're relentlessly attacking and you nick a goal, then you can play the
Okay,
game
all right.
at
So
your pace.
we've got Zed. We've got Zed,
Yeah.
relentless attacking, and myself maybe being a little bit more conservative and resolute and picking the right moments to attack, and not wanting to fall into trap. But yeah, look, let's see what happens, and I'm sure we will come back after tomorrow's game,
We
and
certainly will.
we will see who was right with what analysis. Right, let's move on a little bit. We're sticking with the
Okay, go
North
on.
London derby, guys, and we are now sort of biting nail stage, aren't we? With just some hours to go before, well, let's say it's one sleep, isn't it, really? And tomorrow, I don't know how any of us are going to be functioning at work and the lead up to this said. Well, I mean, what are you doing? Have you got anything planned, or are you just going to switch the telly on and sit back? Is anybody
Um,
coming round, or?
no, no one's coming around. This is my time. I need to
Yeah,
concentrate
just
and be ready to throw something.
just for our viewers and listeners, I wouldn't be thinking of inviting you over to watch an Arsenal game anytime soon, because remember what happened last time I invited
Ah,
you?
mate, no, 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 no.
We got thrashed in the Europa League final by Chelsea, and I mean thrashed
Absolutely.
to the extent where Giroud even scored. But anyway, let's not go there. Good thoughts, happy thoughts. Right,
Happy
tomorrow,
for
give me Zed your brief analysis on who will win and how the game will pan out for you.
Okay. For me, actually, I'm actually quite scared, right?
Mm,
I think Tottenham are just in that kind of a form where you don't know what you're going to get.
mm.
You really, really don't know which Tottenham's going to turn up and what the hell they're actually going to do. Um, and the form has been up and down. I'm going to say it's going to end as a draw. And it might just be 1-1.
Okay, I mean that's interesting. When we talk about form, there, I mean we did say earlier that form goes out the window for these such games, but in the last 5 games, Tottenham have won their last one.
What
Lot.
Drew one?
Sorry,
So the
so
are you
Drew.
going the other way?
Yeah, going the other way. So drew their last one, won the one before, drew, lost, and won. So you're right, a little bit sort of up and down, a little bit choppy, if you like.
Yeah.
Whereas Arsenal have won their last 4 and lost their previous one. I'm going to guess that last loss was the one to Brighton at home.
Yeah, I think
Where
so.
after that we turned it around, miraculously turned it around to beat
Of course.
a combination of Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, Manchester United at home, and then West Ham away, which
West
I
Ham
think
away.
was a brilliant turning point in the season. And then obviously your sort of normal bread and butter win at home to Leeds. So yes, form goes out the window here, Zed. But so are you going for a 1-1? What did you say, or a
I'm
what,
going for
score
I'm
draw
going
or
for
a 0-0
I'm going for a 1-0. I think Arsenal get an early goal, then try to see out the game, and then Tottenham get one.
would it be a bad result for us? And we'll go into sort of scenarios in a second, but because I think a point leaving us sort of not letting them claw the points away from us will be very good for us, because then it means that out of the remaining 2 games that we have left, we only need another win. But I'm
Yeah.
with you. I'm with you at the beginning of the pod when you said that actually, let's get it done here. And I want to ask you this, Zed.
Hmm.
What will tomorrow do for the mentality of these players?
I think for these players and for the coach as well, they need to be up for it. They need to look at this as the game to get it back into the Champions League, and they need to be on full display. And you know what? It's a North London derby. We've got a lot of our Hayland boys in the team now, right? They know what it means, this North London derby, right? These are the kids that have grown up as Arsenal. If we're talking about Saka, Smith Rowe, Etienne Nketiah, right? These are the players who know what it means to be in the North London derby. So they should be up for it. They should be absolutely gunning for this. And the worst thing you can do right now is play it safe and say, look, you know what? Let's go for a draw. They need to be going for a win, and I think they should. I think Arteta will be going for the win.
I think for me, um, it's a difficult one, because I actually
Hmm.
see tomorrow. You're seeing a lot of, like, almost like a quite a tight, cagey game there.
I am, I
Um,
am.
I think tomorrow's going to be kitchen sink situation. To be honest with you,
For who?
for both sides,
Okay.
I see a few goals in it. To be honest with you,
All right.
and look, for me, I'm kind of erring on the side of a draw as well. We haven't won there in a number of, well, say there, but we haven't won away at Tottenham for a number of years in the league itself. Um,
No, I think with the last two we've lost 2-1 and 2-0.
yeah, and
And
that
that's gone back
and look, and the
2019,
last one
2020.
we should have really won, was the one where Aubameyang missed a penalty, and then did they stick around for the draw then? Tottenham,
No, so it was so I think you're maybe talking about the 2019 game, September,
yeah,
where Arsenal lost 2-1.
that they lost that, did they? There was
Uh,
there was there was a game. Maybe I'm thinking, I can't remember which year, but surely there was a game where actually we were winning, and Aubameyang had a chance to win the. Sorry, we were drawing, and Aubameyang had a chance to win the game in the final kick of the game, and missed a penalty. When was that?
that may have been a lot earlier. So I'm looking at the last 5 results,
Yeah,
right? And this is going back to, I think, 2019. So let me just, I think we're going back to what you call 2019, where it finished 2-2, and Aubameyang gets a 71st minute strike to rescue a point for the Gunners.
right.
That
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
that's the one I'm looking at as the
Okay,
last one.
okay. Well, yeah. I mean, we haven't won there in donkey's years, and it's fair
Well,
to
yeah,
say.
we haven't won a couple of years, and we've not won in their new stadium. So,
Yeah, and we haven't won in
uh,
their new stadium. But yeah, look, I guess what my question is that, coming back to you on obviously what I talked about, something that's going to. I think I think they're a young team. I think the emotions will get high. I think there's probably
mm,
going to be some really scrappy channels, tackles,
no red cards, please.
and yeah, I do. I think it's got a couple of cards in it. This game
Oh,
has, I
really?
really do. And
Well,
Chaka,
there's, if the,
keep
if
your cool on. And if I were the boss, I'd be having a word with some of those fire, your Gabriels and your Chaks, and say, look, don't do anything stupid, because they will be winding you up, right? And
Mhm.
that's why I asked you earlier about the emotions of what happened in January. I think he's still really pissed off, Conte
Oh,
is.
you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. And I think what he'll be doing is he's playing it really calm in front of the media, but I think they'll be winding up the Arsenal players tomorrow. I'm going to go for a 2-2, but I think it's going to be
Okay.
a really kitchen sinky 2-2. I think a lot of those games generally do. I'm going to probably say that Tottenham will probably score first, but
Okay.
I think it will go a little bit similar to how it did a few games ago, where it was against Chelsea, right,
Yeah.
where it was end to end. I don't think that Ben White will make it tomorrow. I think we'll probably stay with, as you say, I'm in agreement with you with the top four, the back
The back
four.
four.
Um, and I think that we'll probably leak a couple of goals in, because we didn't match the system. Personally speaking, and yeah, I'm going for 2-2. But it's
Okay.
going to be a kitchen sinky game. I don't think it's going to be tight for periods. I think you are probably going to see both teams go at each other.
Okay. I mean, that'll be an interesting watch. Not for my heart, but it
Not for
will
the
be an
heart, no.
interesting. Not for the heart. But yeah, I think I agree with you on the draw. I don't think there's clear winner here. I think both teams, if they get a couple of goals, they might just sit it out and say, look, let's not take the risk
That's it,
because we're still into it.
and exactly, and both teams then are technically still in, but
Yeah.
that favours, and this is where we're moving on to the next segment now. Zed, is that
Yeah.
favours Arsenal overwhelmingly because,
Yes, yes, it
as
does.
per the Premier League table, Arsenal sit. I mean, let's not even go there with goal difference because
Rubbish at that
yeah,
one.
our goal difference isn't great compared to. Although just looking at goal difference,
We're 14,
we're
man.
14 and they're
Nowhere
20, so
near
we'd
that.
have to score quite a few goals between now and the end of the season. So let's not go there with goal difference, right? But we're sitting on at the moment 66 points, 4 points ahead of Tottenham, who sit on 62 points. Okay, now Tottenham, after they play us, entertain Burnley, I believe,
Hmm.
and,
Yep,
and they'll be at home to Burnley. And at the last game of the season, Tottenham play Norwich away, which is fair to say probably going to
they'll
be
win.
your easy 3 points, right? On the other hand, as our fixtures are probably a little bit more complicated, and this is
Trick.
why
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm with you in agreement that we need to tie this up tomorrow night.
Yes,
In
absolutely.
terms of, so we're away at Newcastle, who, if you look at their form, Newcastle are up there with City and Liverpool in the calendar year in terms of points gained. So they
Absolutely.
are one of the most informed teams in the league at the moment, Zed. And we're going to be going there away at Newcastle. That's not to say we can't pull out a result there, but it's going to be very, very difficult going up there, and you
It'll be
know
a
how
tough game
difficult it
against
is.
Newcastle, mate.
But then
It's as I said,
yeah, with then
Newcastle's going to be a
just
tricky customer.
let me
Go
just
on, go
go
on,
on
go
to
on.
the final fixture, and then I'll get your analysis. And then we've got Everton at home. Now Everton drew tonight, okay, which, although I, by the way, wanted Everton to be relegated, I'm kind of over that now, to be honest with you, because I'm like thinking, gosh, by the time they play us, they may still be fighting for their lives, which is
And they
not
will
good.
be.
Which is not good for us, really, because actually we want Everton to be comfortable and not have anything to play for when we play them. But how do you think, given those fixtures now, this is going to pan out, mate?
Mate, absolutely, it's a tough run. But just before we go on to that, just want to take a shout out to the relegation battle this season. Bloody hell,
It's a
that's
good one, isn't it?
close.
Yeah,
It's a good one. To be fair, I still think Southampton can get dragged into it. I mean, they're in the 40s. No team with 40 points or above has been relegated, but it could be the first season. But I think Everton were poor today. I think that they should have won against Watford, and if they did, I would have been a lot more comfortable. There would have been a 38 points, not very far, and another draw, couple of draws would have taken them to the end of the season. But you're right. So working backwards, I think the Everton game is going to be quite tricky,
yeah,
right? Uh, but I think Arsenal could do a job there, right? We have a very good record against Everton,
yeah,
right? I think and they're at home. It's not away, so we're Arsenal at home. So I see that as 3 points. Regardless of how tough Everton's going to come in, I think Arsenal's just got the quality. I know they've got Yari Mina back, which is very good for them, and Pickford's in the form of
So
his
you think
bloody
we'll win
life.
there? We'll win
I think
versus Everton.
we
Yeah.
win we should win against Everton. Newcastle, on the other hand,
Mm,
is a lot more tougher. They've lost the last couple of games, but you can't blame them for those losses. Bloody Man City, right?
yeah.
You can't blame them. But they're playing a more, well, let's say a better brand of football than they were against
Yeah, they're a
what do you
more
call it, the
solid
previous
team, aren't
manager.
they? Yeah,
They're a better team. They've invested heavily, but they invested well.
yeah,
I mean, they bought Bruno Guimaraes from under Arsenal's nose, so
yeah,
that's to be said something, and he's been absolutely fantastic for them. So I think that might actually be a draw,
yeah. I'm in agreement with you.
right?
Yeah,
So if we take what I say, so Tottenham draw, Newcastle draw, that is 2 points and then 3 points from the last game. So 5 points in total should be okay to get Arsenal to the Champions League.
mm,
Whereas if we look at Tottenham, if they get 1 point from us and then assume they get 6 points against Burnley and Norwich, we don't know about Burnley yet, but I think they'd be gone by. If they lose to Tottenham, they're gone. I think that they're relegated, right? So they will get 7 points,
yeah.
right?
So does that leave us 1 point ahead if my maths is correct?
That
Yeah,
leaves us just ahead of
yeah,
Arsenal, right? And it's going to go down to the last game day. So
yeah.
Arsenal needing a
And we
win,
don't want to do that, Zed, do we?
absolutely
We
not,
don't want this
absolutely
to
not.
go because I think tomorrow we win tomorrow. There's no need to watch any more games after that, is there? Really? Let's be honest. We've done it. You know what
No,
I
no,
mean?
we've done it. We've done it.
But no,
I can breathe a sigh of relief.
absolutely. And Tottenham, on the other hand, they'll fancy themselves at home to Burnley, although Burnley will be fighting for their lives, right?
Yep,
Don't take that as a given that Tottenham will beat them. But if they've still got something to play for, that becomes a very difficult game for them.
it does. But by the way, if what I said is correct, Arsenal will be 2 points ahead on 71, and Tottenham will be on 69. So Arsenal will have still a bit of a buffer,
Bit of a buffer, yeah.
bit of a
Yeah.
buffer. So it won't be as close, but that does mean that Arsenal need to win, get a draw against what you call Tottenham tomorrow at the least.
Yeah,
That has to be the
maths
least.
was never my strong point at school, guys, as you probably can tell. But okay, so right, let's get down to the real nitty-gritty question then. We've
Okay,
already talked about where we think those results will go and what will happen. Who will finish in the Champions League, Zed?
I think.
We just want to get it out there. Shout out to Manchester United. It's not going to be you guys.
No, mate, they've lost it. I think they're going to be in the Conference League, aren't they?
I couldn't care less if they're in the relegation zone, to be
I
honest with you.
think they're going to be in the Europa League group stage actually, which they deserve. You know, that's their competition. They should win it
Where they
again.
are at the moment, I mean, anything can happen between, because I mean, if I'm
Well,
looking at
they've
the
got one
table,
game.
they've got a game in hand over West Ham,
No, no,
who
no. West Ham have got a game in hand
sorry,
against.
West Ham have got a game in hand rather,
Yeah.
over Manchester United. So they win that game and they go equal on points. Looking at
Yes,
the goal
and
difference here, yeah, well, obviously it's Ronaldo there, isn't there? Really,
yeah,
they've got a
exactly. The goal difference is
yeah, yeah,
mass. I
yeah.
think it's pretty good. Oh, actually, goal difference for West Ham is 11, and goal difference for Manchester United is 1.
I didn't see that. I was looking at the wrong field. Oh my God, yeah,
You're looking at goals against,
yeah,
which
yeah,
Man
yeah.
United are good.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. So it's not a given that United will finish in Europe, but let's
Well, no,
look.
I think they're secure against Wolves, and Wolves can't catch up. So they'll be in Europe, so they'll be in the Conference League or the Europa League.
Give
That's the given
give
for
them a
them.
bit of conference and let's have it. So coming back to Arsenal, the reason we do this pod, Zed.
Yeah,
So yes, who is going to finish in the Champions League and how will it play out for you?
honestly, it's one of the hardest calls to make. But you know what? I'm gonna get it out there, and I'm gonna say it. Okay, I think Arsenal will make it.
Yeah.
It's in Arsenal's hand to lose, and tomorrow can all go absolutely wrong, and Arsenal could lose the next 3 games, and we're in the Conference League, right?
Yeah.
Well, not really, but
We can't mathematically be in the Conference League now.
no,
Yeah.
mathematically we can be Arsenal guaranteed Europa. Okay, let's just get that
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now.
That's true.
Right,
Yeah.
so that's where they are. Arsenal guaranteed Europa League, right? So right now in the state of play, we're 4 points ahead of Tottenham. As long as Arsenal don't screw up, right, badly, and badly means losing all 3 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arsenal should be playing Champions League football, and we should be doing a podcast previewing Champions League games.
Hmm. So you're going for Arsenal to draw probably tomorrow night at Tottenham,
Yep,
draw at Newcastle,
yep,
and win at home against Everton.
yeah. So I'm basically going for 5 points from the 3 games.
Okay, I think
5 points out of
that's
9.
probably the most realistic.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm in agreement with you there. I think the 4 points buffer really helps us because
yeah.
I'm in agreement with you. This is probably going to go down as much as it's not good for our health. It's going to go down to the last game of the season. Um, I do feel that there's probably a little, if they don't win tomorrow, Tottenham, I think there's going to be some disheartening for their next game. To be honest with you, because I think they'll psychologically feel that they're out of it. But look, anything can happen in football, and that's why we love
Hmm.
the game. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I look, we all want this, don't we? We all want Arsenal to just get the 3 points tomorrow
Yes,
and do
absolutely.
the job. And I know I asked you this earlier, but I just want to put my own spin and analysis on it. Is that
Go on.
how brilliant would it be for the youngest squad in the league to go in basically their first season as a squad together like this with the new additions to go and achieve Champions League football. It will be an amazing feat for
Absolutely
them.
brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That
Yeah.
would have been Arteta earning his paycheck.
Oh,
and his
definitely.
new contract.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and we'll definitely come on to that in future pods. Right, Zed, listen, I think we've hit our time quota. Is there anything else that you want to get in before we've talked about tactics, we've talked about systems, we've
Hmm.
talked about predictions. I mean, do you want to quickly run, I think you've done the lineup, haven't you? I mean, would
Yeah,
you change the lineup yourself, or would
no,
you no?
absolutely not. I'll keep the lineup absolutely the same, and I think Arteta will do the same. Just to add on, mathematically, the maximum point that Tottenham can get is 71,
Yeah,
right? And Arsenal need 5 points to get that point tally to be able to do it. So if Arsenal win two of those three games,
yeah.
Arsenal will get to 62 points, which means that out of the three games,
72.
Arsenal need to
72.
72. Yeah.
Yeah.
So out of the 9 points, Arsenal need to get six to absolutely solidify Champions League football.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I don't want us to be in a situation where we're trying to go and get 3 points at Newcastle, because I think that puts a lot of pressure on the lads.
Absolutely.
So look, let's get it done tomorrow night, guys. We are the Arsenal. Let's do it, and let's basically, we've won the league at White Hart Lane before. We can do it again in a different guise of the Champions League. Let's do it, guys. Okay, listen, I've been Harry Carnu, and you can find me exactly on that Twitter handle, Harry Carnu. Zed, where can we find you if we wanted to contact you on social media?
Uh, you can find me on Twitter at Z_TAGP. Reach out, and I'm always happy to talk to every football fan
Let's get a
and
few more
always
guests on
happy
for
to
the next
engage.
ones, because I think I really enjoyed the ones with the Mank, that is Atar Khan. So let's try and find some supporters of Tottenham for the next pod, if possible. Look, if well, yeah, if we
If we
lose,
win.
this pod may not come back. I'm only messing. No, absolutely, guys. Let's get you in. Let's get your thoughts in, your comments in under the pod, and let's get you on for the next pod. I've been Harry Carnu. Zed, you've been Zed. You take care of yourself, guys. God bless.